Hi everyone, Alchemist here. Today I'm going to talk about alchemical symbols and their meaning. These are the main alchemy symbols that you will need in your practice or that you might encounter in your research. So these are the elements that medieval alchemists used to use extensively in their works, in their research. So before I explain the meaning of these elements, I want to remind you that alchemy uses symbology and sigils heavily to communicate certain secrets, certain wisdom, certain information. This has been done in order to escape the church and escape the Inquisition that was practiced by religious groups, by the church, by Christianity in medieval times. And they executed witches, alchemists, even anyone who would wonder or think about existence, about life outside of the realm of Christianity. So the solution for this was that alchemists started using symbols and sigils. So for example, when the inquisitors would find these sigils, they would think it's something that's useless, that doesn't have any meaning. But within these symbols, secrets, wisdom, information has been passed down for hundreds of years. It's actually the same thing for tarot. That's why when you buy tarot decks, like either the Hermetic tarot deck or the Thoth tarot deck or even the Rider-Waite, the decks that have been well studied and the decks that are embedded with alchemical symbology and imagery, like this. Tarot does the same thing. It passes down information, secrets, and wisdom from ancient time that a lot of people have actually died for. A lot of people have sacrificed their lives to pass down this information, so it's ready and available for us to use in this day and age. So alchemy did the same thing. That's why when you research alchemy, you're gonna find a lot of symbols that don't make any sense when you look at them at first. But this was done with the purpose to preserve the knowledge so people of today can have access to it. And I am honored and I have the biggest pleasure to share with you this knowledge and this secret in this year 2022. So the first alchemical symbol that I'm going to share with you is part of the Trinity of Alchemy, which is Corpus Animus Spiritus. Corpus, which is salt, and I'm gonna draw it for you here. It's a circle with a line in the middle, as you can see here. This is corpus. Corpus represents the body or salt. In alchemy, it's referred to it as the element of salt, but in a spiritual perspective or spiritual alchemy, it is the body, hence why corpus. The second one is sulfur, and this is how you draw it. That's the second alchemical sigil or symbol, and it represents the animus. So we have corpus, animus, spiritus. This is the animus. The animus represents the energy that gives you ambition, that gives you power, that drives you to do things. It's the divine masculine. The third element is spiritus, spirit or mercury. This is the spiritus element or spirit, and as you can see here, it also represents Mercury, the elements, the metal Mercury, but also the planet Mercury. So this is the Corpus Animus Spiritus. It's the Trinity of Alchemy that allows you to reach the Philosopher's Stone. Before you can become an alchemist, you have to embody this Trinity, and these are the sigils for it. The body, corpus, our body, the divine masculine, the energy that makes us who we are, that drives us in this physical reality, and then the divine feminine energy, which is the spirit, or Mercury, referred to with the metal Mercury or Mercury as in the planet Mercury. These sigils can also, for example, the Mercury sigil can also be found in astrology as well, not only in alchemy. So you will find that alchemists used astrology, and astrology represents a big part of alchemy as well. That's why they share a lot of sigils. The other elements that I'm going to share with you are the 4 elements. The elements of nature, we have fire, water, air, and earth. And these are essential in alchemy. And the symbols or the sigils used to represent them are basically triangles. These are the 4 elements. These are the sigil for each element. They're drawn using triangles, and alchemists use these elements in their experiments, in their books, in their writings, and it's also to pass down wisdom. When you combine these triangles all together, you get the hexagram, the Seal of Solomon. Overlap all of these triangles. When you take them and overlap them, you get the hexagram or the Seal of Solomon. And this can also be a representation of the Philosopher's Stone as well. The Philosopher's Stone has its own sigil, but this, the Seal of Solomon, can also represent the Philosopher's Stone, as I'm wearing my ring here. So, because it embodies the 4 elements. And in alchemy, there's actually more than 4 elements, there's 5 elements. There's 4, which are basically the ones that I just mentioned here. Water, fire, air, and earth. And then you have the 5th element, the quintessence, which is ether, or the universe. Ether, eternity comes from ether. Ether, eternity. It's something that's infinite. It doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have an end. It's eternity. It's the ether. Some people like to call it prana. It's the universe. It's what's out there that people cannot see with their own physical eyes. That's the 5th element. So there's actually 5 elements. The 5th element can be represented also with this hexagram here, because it's the overlap of all the 4 elements, but it's also the Philosopher's Stone, and the Philosopher's Stone could be that 5th element that everybody is looking for, the element that will allow you to ascend, the element that would allow you to become part of everything, part of spirit, part of the universe, because that is the 5th element. Another element that I want to show you here is the moon. The moon, this is how you write the sigil for it, or draw the sigil for it, with this crescent moon, and it also represents the metal silver. So if you draw this, it means moon or silver, and then we have this circle with the dot in the middle, and that represents the sun, or gold, the metal gold. So if you see this, it means you're talking about gold or the sun. If you see this, it means you're talking about the moon or silver. These elements I already explained. So the more you remember the meaning of each element and the planet that is associated with the element or with the metal, the more you can decipher the alchemical messages when you see them in books, when you see them in ancient manuscripts. When you see, for example, this, you know it's going to be the moon or silver. When you see this, you know it refers to gold or the sun. And then you can start connecting the dots together. And for example, when you see this, you know it's the body. We're talking about the body, or salt. When you see, for example, spirit, you know we're talking about Mercury, the metal Mercury, or the planet Mercury, or spirit. So each sigil or symbol can have 1 or 2 or 3 meanings at the same time. But depending on the context, depending on the experiment, depending on what you are looking at, you will decipher a different message. And that's the beauty of alchemy. That's the beauty. It's that it embodies these meanings, and these meanings can be decoded in different formats depending on how you use them. Tarot, and especially the major arcanas of tarot, use the same principle. They follow the alchemical principle. The Hermetic tarot deck. All alchemists were Hermeticists, because all of this knowledge comes from Hermes Trismegistus, from the Emerald Tablet, just one, not many, just one tablet. Every alchemist in the Middle Ages had this tablet hanged on their walls, right? So alchemists use this tablet, and all of alchemy is based on hermeticism. So hermeticism and alchemy goes hand in hand. You cannot separate them. Tarot, the major arcanas, they are based on alchemy, they are based on hermeticism as well. You cannot separate them either. So when you look at major arcanas, for example, the Emperor card here, you're going to see a lot of symbology. We have the Aries sign, the astrological sign of Aries here. And as I said earlier, astrology also goes hand in hand with alchemy. We have the bee, we have the ram head here. It's loaded with symbology. There's the eagle, there's these moons coming out of like different directions. Look at the symbology. And if you can decipher just one major arcana, you can basically write a book about it. You can write a whole book about one major arcana because of the use of sigils and symbols. So remember that alchemy is a philosophy, it's an art. Alchemy is an art that is based on sigils and symbols. And that's how it survived. That's how alchemy survived. That's how tarot survived as well. Because otherwise, all of these religious groups, they were trying to annihilate all of this ancient wisdom that dates back to ancient Egypt. It dates back to ancient Mesopotamia, to ancient Greece. This knowledge that allows you to become free, that allows you to transform, allows you to transmute into your highest version. So a lot of people did an amazing job, and they sacrificed their lives, they sacrificed themselves, they hid in basements, in tunnels, in caves. They tried to encode all of the information into this beautiful symbology just so you and me can use it and benefit from it now in this era. And that's something that I truly appreciate it, and I find it fascinating. So I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment section if these alchemical symbols are familiar to you. Do you use them? Have you known about them? And I'm gonna share with you more alchemical symbology and imagery in the next videos. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.